Hi viewers, in this video we are going to discuss about principles of health education. Objectives of this video. At the end of the section, the viewers are able to define health education, list down the aims and objectives of health education, explain the various principles of health education. Introduction. First, we will see what is education. The ultimate aim of education is change in the behavior. The education brings change in the behavior of the individual in a desirable manner. Education can help to increase the knowledge, so that it is often assumed that knowledge determines the attitude and attitude determines the behavior. So through the education we are imparting the knowledge to the people, so that we able to see the changes in their attitude and their behavior. Health education. Health education is a powerful and effective medicine in the treatment and prevention of illness. It is the cheapest but very effective tool. If administered with great awareness by healthcare worker in any setting, hospital or school or health center, home, community, wherever it is as a whole, it will be the best tool in promoting the health. It is mainly the principle we are applying is win friends, to win friends and influence people in order that they may attain the best of the health. We will discuss the definition. What is the definition of health education? Health education is defined as a process by which the individual and groups of people learn to behave in a manner conducive to the promotion, maintenance, or restoration of health. This definition is given by John M. Last. And according to the National Conference on Preventive Medicine in USA, health education defined as it is a process that inform, motivate and help people to adopt and maintain healthy practices and lifestyle. Advocate environmental changes as needed to facilitate these goals, and conduct professional training and research to the same end. The another definition given by Almata during Almata Declaration in the year 1978. Health education is a process aimed at encouraging people to want to be healthy, to know how to stay healthy, to do what they can individually and collectively to maintain health, and to seek help when needed. There are so many definitions, but this three definition is most commonly used by the healthcare professional. Aims of health education. The definition adopted by WHO in 1969 and the Almata Declaration adopted in 1978 provided an useful basis for formulating the aims and objectives of health education, which may be started as below. To encourage people to adopt and sustain healthy promoting lifestyle and practices, to promote the proper use of health services available to them, to arouse interest, provide new knowledge, improve skills and change attitude in making rational decision to solve their own problem, to stimulate individual and community self-reliance and participation to achieve health development through the individual and community involvement at every step from identifying the problem till solving the problem. Principles of health education. Some basic principles that should be followed while giving health education are there are so many principles. It can be summed up using the mnemonic called MILK CPR LGCSF. It is very easy, because there are so many principles under health education. For easy memorizing, I used this mnemonic, that is MILK CPR LG CSF. Okay. First, in this M stands for motivation, I for interest, L for learning by doing, K for known to unknown, C for credibility, P for participation, R for reinforcement. Continuation of previous slide, previous thing, L for leader, G for good human relations, C for comprehensive, and S for setting an example, F for feedback. First principle, motivation. In every person, there is a fundamental desire to learn. Stimulation or awakening of the desire is called motivation. There are two types of motives, primary motives and secondary motives. Primary motives are sex, hunger, survival. These are some inborn desires. The secondary motives are prize, love, rewards, punishment, and recognition, the push or step from others to the individual, that we call the secondary motives. Okay. The second principle is interest. Whatever we are teaching now, the listener should have interest towards our topic. It is well known psychological principle that unless people are interested, they will not learn. Health education should therefore relate to the interests of the people. All health teaching, in order to be effective, must be based on the health needs of the individual or felt need of the individual. The next principle is learning by doing. Learning is an action process. Okay. The following Chinese proverb emphasizes the importance of learning by doing. If I hear, I forget. If I see, I remember. If I do, I know. Okay, if you are doing something, if you are already following, you are inculcating in your daily practices, then you know very well what is the positive and negative of that particular activity. If you are hearing like advice, you may forget. If you are seeing the real scenario, the ill effect of unhealthy behavior or some other thing, you remember, oh, this is the effect of this activity. If you are following, then you know very well. Once again, I am repeating the proverb. If I hear, I forget. If I see, I remember. If I do, I know. The next principle is known to unknown. We must always go from simple things to the complex things, from concrete to the abstract, from easy to the difficult, and from known to unknown. This is a basic principle we used to follow in our school education as well as college education, and this is a basic principle in health education also. First we should start with what the people already knows, already ours. Then we have to impart knowledge, concrete knowledge to the people about the content whatever we are teaching. These are the rules of teaching. One should start educating the people from what they know already and then expose them to the new knowledge. Next principle is credibility. It is the degree to which the message to be communicated is perceived as trustworthy by the receiver. The receiver should think the information what they are getting from the resource person is useful for them. It have the impact towards the life. So, the degree to which the message to be communicated is perceived as trustworthy by the receiver. There is a trusty relationship between the health education, the person who is giving health education and the person who is receiving the health education. The person should have trust, the person who is giving health education. Okay. So, see, usually the common people have trust towards the healthcare people. Whatever they are saying, that is, this is true. The healthcare people conveying the information we have to follow. That kind of trust should be there. It must be based on the fact, it must be consistent, compatible with scientific knowledge, and also with the local culture, educational system, and social goods. The next principle is participation. It means taking part in or involving oneself or contributing towards something. Rather than a passive listener, the person who is receiving the health education should involve. So, the health educator also involve the group members to do some activity, to involve in health education process, so that they will feel the trust and it will be helpful for easy learning. It is better than passive learning, and personal involvement is more likely to lead to the personal acceptance. The next principle is reinforcement. Few people can learn all that is new in a single period. Repetition at interval is necessary. If there is no reinforcement, there is a possibility that the individual will forget what is taught for them. Okay. So, the health educator responsibility, they have to continuously reinforce the content what they are conveyed to the listener. Next principle, leader. We learn a best from leader whom we respect and regard in the work of health education. We penetrate the community through the local leaders, example school teachers, agents, etc. Leaders understand the needs and demands of the community and provide proper guidance. See, during the health education process, the health educator usually search for the leaders in the local community, example school teachers, agent, counselors, voluntary healthcare workers. They identify the leaders and understand the needs and demands of the community people, and they get help from the leaders to get ultimately for getting cooperation from the community people. The next principle is good human relation. The health educator must be kind and sympathetic. People must accept him as their real friend. Then only they will share their feelings and they will share the needs and the problem whatever they are facing, in that particular committee, they will share that thing if they are accepting as a real friend. Good relationship that lead to good communication are of utmost importance in health education. Next one is comprehension. In health education, we must know the level of understanding, education and literacy of the people to whom the teaching is directed. The teaching should be within the mental capacity of the people. The health educator must be aware about the level of the learner. Based on the level, based on the capacity of the learner only, the health educator should teach the people. Next, setting an example is one of the important principles. The health education should set a good example in the things she is teaching. Example, if he is explaining the sorts of smoking, she will not be very successful if himself smokes. Okay, we should be a role model, we should be a example for the learners. And the same way we should show the person who is following the good principles, what are the facilities, what are the benefits they are getting through that good activities and following the good principles. The people not following the good things, what are all the ill effect. So, we should set an example while giving health education. The last principle, feedback. It is one of the key concepts of the system approach. For effective communication, We are all know in the elements of communication itself, the last step is feedback. Whatever we are communicating now, that should be reached properly to the learners. How we able to assess that thing? By collecting the feedback. Feedback is of paramount importance. It only gives the value whether the educator attained their goal or not. Be able to know by getting the feedback from the people. Till now we have discussed about health education, the definition of health education and the various principles. In the principles we have discussed about motivation, interest, learning by doing, known to unknown, credibility, participation, reinforcement, leader, good human relation, comprehensive, setting an example, feedback. All those things we have seen in the for easy memorizing the principles, various principles. We have seen the mnemonic, that is milk CPR, LG CSF. Each letter is the starting letter of the principles what we have discussed. Thank you so much, viewers.